Hi, everybody, and welcome to week 4 of Methods of Social Work Research. This week, we are going to be focusing specifically on quantitative research methods. For the last couple of weeks, we've spent some time looking at the differences between qualitative and quantitative studies, and this week we're really going to be honing in on quantitative research designs, and specifically operationalization and measurement. We're going to be, in terms of readings, looking at the Halasko text, Chapter 8. We're also going to be, again, looking at the foundations of the language of research links, specifically looking at levels of measurement, construct validity, and reliability, and exploring links to understand those concepts. We're also going to be looking at survey research and what some different types of survey research are, as well as scaling. And really, through these readings, what we're really looking at is gaining an understanding of how we begin to move from having a theory about the relationship between two variables to actually designing a plan to measure that. So say, for example, we had a research question, like we wanted to look at what's the relationship between academic performance and self-esteem. So that would be, a great, totally legitimate research question to explore, but what do we mean by that? How are we going to operationalize the concepts and the variables in that research question? So what is the relationship between academic performance and self-esteem? How are we defining academic performance? Is that GPA? Is that some other standardized test measure? How are we measuring that? And then self-esteem, something like self-esteem, that's a really abstract concept, right? So how do we measure self-esteem? Some of the ways we might measure it, there may be scales that have been developed that measure self-esteem, and what kind of scales are they, and how are they developed, or how do we develop them if we're trying to measure a variable that a scale hasn't been developed for. So these are all the kinds of questions that we're thinking about when we're designing quantitative research studies. So you're going to be reading more in depth about what goes into the process of operationalizing variables and research questions, and formulating and testing hypotheses, which is really at the core of quantitative research, is the idea of hypothesis testing. So really central to this process is the idea of levels of measurement, and you're going to be watching a video and also reading about levels of measurement. There's 4 levels of measurement when we're talking about variables. There are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio variables, and the video and readings will break those down for you and define those for you further, so I'm not going to do that here. But if you have any questions about that, please feel free to shoot me an email, and I'll be glad to address those. You're also going to be watching a video about validity and reliability, also very critical to the research design. You will be watching a video about hypothesis tests and p-values, getting a little bit into the statistics of quantitative research design, but I think in a way that is very accessible and understandable. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I would, as always, I would start myself, if I was taking this course, I would probably start with the overview presentation, which will touch on a number of the concepts that I just briefly went over, to sort of give you a broader framework, and then I would probably watch these other videos, but you're free to view them in any order. There's also a video on writing a references page, which will come in handy for your critiques that are due this week. Okay, so next I want to briefly review the assignments and discussion posts for the week. Your first individual assignment is the literature review article critique, and let me jump back to that, which is actually the assignment itself is on the main course page. Oops. There we go. So last week you identified a literature review article, and this week you are going to be critiquing that article, and you're going to be doing this in the form of a paper that should be organized with headings and subheadings into 5 sections, addressing each area in the rubric, and it should be about 3 to 4 pages, not including your title page and your reference page. And you, of course, should be using APA formatting with a title page, citations, and a reference page, which is where that video this week on APA referencing will come in handy. You're going to upload the article critique in the assignment area for grading by Sunday, and you're also going to upload it into the discussion area for the week 5 discussion. Some things to be aware of as you're working on your critique. Make sure you're aware of the difference between paraphrasing versus direct quoting. We should really be using direct quotes sparingly, really only when there's no other way to explain something in our own words. For instance, the research question may be a quote, but quotes should not comprise the majority of your paper. And remember that when you do submit papers, they do automatically go through software that detects plagiarism, or will note if too much of your paper is not in your own words. And of course, always make sure you're citing. I think at the master's level, I shouldn't have to say these things, but I just like to review them just so the expectations are clear, to make sure you're using proper APA citation format for any paraphrasing and direct quotes. And again, there are some videos to help you with that formatting if you need those, and there's a link right there. So as far as the literature review article critique rubric, again, you're going to have 5 parts to your paper. First, you're going to provide an overview of the article in your own words. So this is sort of a synopsis of the article, about a paragraph long. Then you're going to provide a description in approximately 3 paragraphs, fairly short, using subheadings. You're going to provide a description of the research topic or purpose, the themes and key concepts in the literature, and the findings. The third section of your paper is going to be the critique. So these first 2 sections are fairly objective. You're sort of providing a synopsis and then a description of these 3 areas. The third section of the paper is where you really get into the critique. And again, using subheadings and referencing the Halasco text, you're going to critique the article first for writing clarity and readability, also for methodology based on Halasco pages 8 and 9 and chapters 4, 5, and 6, and also discuss the strengths and weaknesses in detail. The fourth section of your paper, about a paragraph or so, is going to discuss the importance of the article's topic and problem in relation to social work in general. So that's sort of the so what, why is this literature review important, or maybe you think it's not important. And finally, the 5th section of the paper, you will discuss the relevance, again, approximately a paragraph, the relevance of the article, both personally and professionally, to your current or future social work practice. And this is sort of the who cares. So the so what is how does this relate to social work in general, and the who cares is sort of to you personally and professionally. How is this article relevant? And again, APA format will also be a part of your grade. If anyone has any questions whatsoever about this assignment, absolutely feel free to email me. I'll be glad to answer those. Okay, and one final thing I wanted to point out regarding the literature review article critique. I'm here back in week 4 of the course now. There is also a video here on organizing your paper, as well as proper APA formatting. So if you need that, please definitely use that as a resource. So the next assignment is this week you will be searching for an article for a program evaluation critique that you'll be doing next week. So you're going to choose a program evaluation research article of a topic related to your own interest and upload a copy of that article for approval. Again, the same criteria that we've been using apply to the article. And again, a helpful hint in finding a program evaluation article is to actually use the term program evaluation when you're searching. So if you're interested in homeless youth, you could say homeless youth and program evaluation and see what you get. And I think everybody's getting fairly good and comfortable at searching for articles. So again, if you have any questions about that, feel free to email me. Then for your discussion post this week, this I think is actually a fun assignment. I hope you think so too. So this week we're going to be looking at media reporting of research studies. I know myself, I think probably pretty much every day when I'm driving in my car and have the radio on, or if I have the news on in the background, I hear about some study that has been completed that is being reported on, whether it's telling me that coffee is good for me today, or tomorrow there's another study telling me that coffee is bad for me. We're constantly bombarded with studies in the media. So for this assignment, you're going to find a news report related to a study. So it might be something you saw, on a morning show, a news report, something you find on social media or a site like Google News or Yahoo News or wherever you get your news. You could also look at the sites of your local daily newspaper and look for words like study or research. And you want to actually review the study by researching the findings. So you're going to sort of put on your detective hat or your reporter hat and pretend that you're fact checking the story. So you're going to find a news story, whether it's on TV, on social media, on a website, and then you're going to try to find the actual study whose findings were being reported in the media. So for your discussion post, you're going to report to the class a brief overview of the study, how the study was presented, and any differences between the way the study was reported in the media and what you found by actually researching the study and going, directly to the study itself. And when you post, make sure you include a link to the media report of the study, and then also a link to the study itself if you can find it. And then, of course, you'll respond to 2 classmates. The initial post is due Thursday, as always, with your follow-up responses due between Friday and Sunday. And make sure you adhere to the word limitations in the rubric. So I look forward to reading those. I think that's generally a fairly fun assignment compared to some of the others. And finally, for your dyad project, I hope people are coming along nicely with those. For week 4, again, you'll be meeting by phone, Skype, Google Hangouts, Big Blue Button, whatever method your group is using or your dyad is using, to continue to work on your final presentation. And this week, you're going to specifically talk about, when you meet, who is in the sample in each of the articles that you're reviewing for the dyad or triad project, how the researchers accessed the sample, what kind of sampling was used, whether or not you agree with where the researchers found the sample population and why or why not. What were the inclusion or exclusion criteria for the participants? So who was included or excluded and why? And then identify any vulnerabilities of the population that was being studied. So for your post at the end of the week, this week each member of the dyad or triad is going to post your answers for the article that you are responsible for to all of these questions. So if there's 2 of you in the group, you are each posting for the article that you're responsible for. Obviously, if there's 3 of you in the group, the 3 of you will each post for the article that you have responsibility for that week. You'll post in this forum, and then you'll also post the date and times that you met. And that is all due by Sunday. So again, if there's any questions about that, please feel free to email me or to attend my virtual office hours tomorrow, Tuesday evening. All right, and then on a final note for this week, I just wanted to thank everybody for their patience with regard to the systems issues that were going on with Engage and Campus Cruiser at the end of week 3. I certainly will be flexible with grading the week 3 assignments in terms of when they were submitted, because I know that was certainly beyond everybody's control, including my own. I had some challenges myself accessing Engage on Sunday evening, so I certainly appreciate that. I hope everybody has a great week, and if anyone has any questions, as always, please email me or log into the Big Blue Button virtual office hours on Tuesday evening, or if you'd like to talk directly at another time, shoot me an email, and we can definitely find a mutually agreeable time to do that. All right, have a great week, and I look forward to reading your assignments.